Good morning. It's Thursday, July 9th. It's about 10 to 10 in the morning. I pulled the tub back out so that I could make sure I understood how all these drains need to orient over here. And I ran into a problem because of that floor joist right there. So I'm going to have to do a tricky plumbing job for this overflow drain hole. I'm going to have to come along here, then turn the corner, then penetrate the floor right in that area, come up and connect to the bedding over here. It's a little strange, but it'll work. But that's not why I'm making a recording. I'm making a recording because I just literally spent 45 minutes looking through this whole area for my favorite tape measure. Nowhere to be found. That is, until I found it. That's pretty irritating. Of course, what's even more irritating is I got that tape measure, but I don't like it. I like that one. So I refused to use the one I didn't like, and I spent 45 minutes looking for this damn thing. That's all I'm going to say right now. It's July 9th, about 3:30 in the afternoon. I spent an enormous amount of time trying to understand how this thing's going to fit over here. There's some odd things about it, mostly because of this floor joist here interferes with the traditional way in which the overflow pipe connects to the main drain of the tub. So my solution is I have to reroute the overflow drain, which is going to be right there as opposed to right over in there. It can't be there because of that header. All right, scratch that floor joist. Meanwhile, after I figured that out, and I had to figure it out in order to progress on the overall plumbing, I've still got the main part of the sewer in for it. Well, crap, I don't have much light here, but anyhow, over here is where the it's kind of hard to do. Over here is where the overall main drain and overflow drain connect via a P-trap, which will be, well, boy, that's really hard to show in this thing. Anyway, over in there. And that's why I've got this thing oriented so that I can get that P-trap and such hooked up. But I don't want to do that until after I've got the tub in and the overflow and main drain pipes penetrating the floor, so I know exactly how to do it. I can't do that until I get more 3/4 inch material in here, because we're adding 3/4 inch throughout this whole space over the top of this. So I can't set the tub in place until that 3/4 inch material is down. All right, so that took me, embarrassing as it is, about half a day to sort through what you just saw there. Meanwhile, over here in the master shower, I installed this stuff. That will be a vent pipe that goes all the way up through there and connects with all these vent pipes here and penetrates the roof. All right, yeah, that's great. Right there's the P-trap for the shower, and it's generally located in the right spot. In other words, center. So center from one side to the other this way, center from this side to this side. So sweet, that's great. Unfortunately for me, I had made an assumption that I had enough space under the subfloor to accommodate the slope requirements for that pipe. Well, unfortunately for me, this pipe that I just installed a little bit ago doesn't have enough slope. It will never pass code. It's roughly level, and no way that's going to pass code. So for the water path, they want you to use what's called a long sweep 90, which is this fitting right here. That's a long sweep 90. However, my plan to recover from this terrible situation, because I have to redo a bunch of stuff now, is to use short sweep 90s, which actually make the turn in a lot less distance. So that's a long sweep 90. But the only thing that thing is carrying is air. The water path is down through here, down the P-trap, over to the sanitary tee, and though you can't really see it all that well, it sweeps downwards and then down through the drain pipe and off into the main sewer line. And that's required by code. You can't use short turn anything for carrying wastewater. That is probably not true for pipes that carry only air, i.e. the vent pipes. And that's all this is right here. It goes over, then up, and eventually up through the roof. So my plan of attack is I got to chop a lot of this back out tomorrow. And then I'm going to replace I have two long sweep 90s in that configuration, one right there and the other one that goes up. By replacing the long sweep 90s with short sweep 90s, I can recover the vertical distance that I need to get the right slope on this pipe right here. Now the thing of it is, I'm not 100% sure that's allowed by code. I can't imagine that it's not, but I don't actually know that it is. So I'm going to have to do some homework to figure that out. And then, assuming that it is, I got to go buy parts, cut this stuff out that I already installed, and kind of, unfortunately, start over. So that's my day. And I guess I'll see you, although, take a nice look at this. Even though it's not right, I have 100% now. If I had the right slope, I'd have 100% of the wastewater connections made, which is kind of a big deal. Because after I get all of that in, then I turn my attention to installing all the water lines, which I'm really hoping will be a lot faster. I think it will be. I do have some more experience on that. So I should also mention that tomorrow I've got a plumber coming by who's going to inspect all this stuff and let me know whether he thinks I will or won't pass a inspection. And we'll see how that goes. I'll report on that tomorrow. Meanwhile, have a good night. Good morning. It's Friday, July 10th, about 7:45 in the morning. As is usual, I spent the morning doing quiet stuff. Got another hillbilly load here. This is the old dead insulation that I pulled out of the ceiling and some stuff below the floor, all of which gets to be replaced. Lucky me. Anyway, I'm ready to go to the dump and then on to the store to pick up various parts. It's another gray day, but not cold really. Perfect for working. And I'm expecting a plumber to come by at any moment who's going to do an inspection of my work thus far and let me know what I got right, what I don't got right. And I got lots of questions for him. So, I'll check in with you later once I find out what he's got to say. Bye. Good morning again. It's just a little bit after the previous video. Plumber's not here, so I decided to use the time before he got here to install some more pipe hangers under the floor, which is where I'm at the moment. That's what this thing is. It looks kind of janky, but it's what they do. And holy moly. And then that one, and then down there it makes the turn. Doesn't need one. Anyway, this is really well supported. So I'm going to, oh yeah, that's my terrible mistake from yesterday. I have to cut all that out, start over today. Yay, lucky me. All right, that's it. I'm getting out of here now. Good morning again. Well, Keith from Archie's Plumbing just left. He gave me pretty much a thumbs up. He gave me 3 or 4 things that I need to fix or change, but he said generally it looks great to start off with, especially so I remember. This right here is the pipe that goes to the kitchen sink, and it's not tied in to, where is it? Right there, that's a test plug. That test plug is used to stop up the sewer pipe so that I can fill all the rest of this stuff full of water and prove that there's no leaks. That's the purpose of a test plug. He told me the inspector will never pass that because it's not under test. No way to put it under test. So he told me either put a test T right there, so that'd make 2 test T's that I'd have, or don't do it that way, cap that off, and tie it in, well, it's hard to see, but tie it in basically with the the tub drain, which he said he preferred because then everything's under one system. However, you got to have skill to do that. So I'm a little afraid of that. He also told me that particular Fernco coupler that's right there with the 2 silver bands is a no-go. That'll fail inspection. He says it needs to be anything in the house or house area needs to have the silver band kind. Different type of Fernco. Anyway, so I have to replace that. He told me this may fail inspection. He said it may not, because he said the inspector will give me a little more leeway since I'm not a pro. Even though that makes no sense to me, that's what he said. He said I should have dropped this straight into a P-trap and then over. My problem is that the reason that 2x4 is there's a recessed dryer vent interface. It's so that you can get a little more clearance for your dryer vent hose, so it'll be recessed. And that's where it goes, it's attached to that stud. So that's why I did that way. And he also told me, well, he didn't say it this way, but he thought I was crazy for using 2-inch vent pipes everywhere. He said most vent pipes can be 1.5 inches. But said I can live with it. Oh, before I forget, he said all 3 sinks need to have a clean out. So he recommended that I cut that pipe, put in basically a test plug. Anyway, a place for a clean out. and on all three sinks. He said the inspectors are really looking for that these days. He told me that I ought to convert after the sanitary tea that I haven't put in there yet, that I ought to convert from 2-inch to 1.5. That'll make penetrating this stud a little bit more palatable, so that I can then go up. So that's the other thing. Clean outs for all three sinks. And he gave me some ideas on how to solve a problem I got over here that I mentioned earlier. I'm having a clearance problem here. He told me that I couldn't use short sweep 90s in order to gain back my vertical distance that I need in order to get the right slope on that pipe. So I got to come, he said I can use a Y, and honestly I didn't follow a word he said on that. I probably should have asked him, but basically he drew me that picture, which meant a whole lot to him, but not too much to me. So I'm going to think about that picture and this problem, and somehow today I'm going to fix it. So there you go. Anyway, all in all, I'm really, really happy because the guts of this thing, which is this stuff right here, he didn't have any problem with at all. So yay me. All right, that's it. I'll check in later. Bye. Well, I'm at the dump getting ready to throw my stuff here, and then I'm on to the parts store to get some plumbing parts. Talk to you later. All right, it's 12:30 on Friday. I've been to the plumbing store, got a bunch of parts. It took way too much time. It turns out that you really have to know the acronyms and the terms that they use in order to assure yourself that you're getting the right parts. The first time I was there, I ordered what I thought were the right parts. I get a big box of parts. I look at it, and it's not at all what I wanted. So I had to go back into the store and try again. Second time, I got it right. But all total, it probably took about an hour, hour and a half at the plumbing parts store before I got all the right parts. In any case, as you heard in the last video, the plumber told me how to fix what I'd done. I had, you won't probably recognize this, but I had built this to go into the system. What he suggested was this, which I built, which is an odd shaped thing. You can see it's got all kinds of strange curly cues and angles. But what you're looking at there is what will be the P-trap. This thing is going to go in here basically like this. I can't quite get it right. Like this and like this. And well, I can't do it without three hands. This piece right here is going to be the vent for the master shower. That's the P-trap, and this piece right here, the end of the P-trap, comes up vertically to the shower drain. And then this pipe right here fits under here and connects right down there. So, that said, it's time to get busy and see if that actually works. This is my second attempt, and God willing, it'll work. All right, talk to you soon. All right, just another quick update. This pipe is dry fit. None of it's glued up. But what you're looking at here is the master shower drain system. And you can see down here the P-trap. That pipe will be cut off at the appropriate height. This other pipe right down here is the vent pipe that comes up here. And really that's what the plumber had suggested me, was instead of using a sanitary T, use a Y. He said that's perfectly acceptable by code. And he said that'll solve your vertical problems. And he was absolutely right. Very helpful. Presumably the inspector will approve this. And then the level is there on the center line of the master shower to prove that I got the drain pipe aligned in the correct this direction and this direction, dead center for the shower. Which, it's not perfect. It's wrong this way by about an inch. But I figure to fix it, well, I'd need to take that pipe off and reorient all this stuff in order to get it moved over an inch. And I'm thinking it's not worth it. I'm thinking it's close enough the way it is. But I guess I'll find out. But I am to glue it up. Now, gluing this stuff up is where the tricky part really is. This may look tricky, but the tricky part is gluing it up. Because you only have like 2 seconds from the time you put 2 glued pieces together until it's too hardened to actually turn. So you have to get your orientations just right within a couple seconds, or you're screwed. And I'm still working on that part. That's really been biting me in the butt quite a few times already. All right. Check in with you later. All right. It's 4 o'clock on Friday. And I feel like I didn't get a whole lot done. Well, I got a lot done, but not nearly as much as I thought I would get done. I entered through the side door of the house, which is the view you're looking at. This is the west room. That area will eventually be the master bedroom. This used to be, a long, long time ago, the outside of the house, now supported by that beam you see. The tub that I'll install hopefully sometime soon. Over here is where I actually got some work done. After I had a consult with a plumber, he informed me that I needed to put that test tee in. That's used to allow the installation of basically a balloon that you pump up to block the pipe from draining water. And then you fill the whole pipe up with water. In this case, it goes all the way up over there and then up through the roof. Will be filled with water when the plumbing inspector gets here. I also switched out that connector down there. That's called a Fernco, basically a rubber gasket with clamps. But they demand a different type of Fernco these days. So plumber told me to replace it. I did that. So I did that and I did that. He also informed me that I needed to put a clean out on all 3 sinks. So that coupling right there will go just below that sanitary tee there. Didn't get to that, but I will. And I'm going to increase the height of that by a little bit. It's a little shy. I measured the proper distance from the subfloor, not the finished floor. So since I'm going to put that thing in, I'm going to go ahead, chop the pipe off off, put a coupler in, then the clean out, then the drain access, and get it all at the right height. Meanwhile, the most significant work was right here, where you may not remember it from a previous video, but it was completely different and it was completely wrong, what I had in there. I failed to meet the proper drainage slope by a lot. Talked to the plumber about it. He told me a method of fixing it, which hard to see, but basically it's that. So that's a real snaky, convoluted thing. Took me quite a while to figure that out and get it installed, but it's all there and correct. So, yay me. Also today, I began working on the master bathroom sink. You can see the clean out is in, the approved coupling is in, and I started working the vent pipe. My intention to be, on the basis of advice from the plumber, to use a reducer from this 2-inch pipe to 1.5-inch pipe for the vent, because, well, for one thing, it makes a lot smaller hole in the structure. Well, when I went to the plumber's supply store, they said, this is what you need to cut the hole for the 1.5-inch pipe. If you look at it, it's 1 3/4. Okay, yeah, that sounds right. Well, guess what? They must have been thinking inner diameter, because I started cutting and I said, that looks entirely too small. And, well, it is. But I didn't want to stop, so I thought I had a 2-inch hole saw. I don't know why I didn't see this right off the bat. Where the heck is it? Pretty old one. 2 9/16, I think. Anyway, entirely too big. So I decided to stop. These holes only penetrate maybe about halfway, and this particular piece, this particular stud does nothing structurally, so it doesn't really matter. More on this crap later. But in any case, I decided to stop work on this and get the proper hole saw. That's just ridiculous. And what's weird is when I talked to the guy, I said, are you sure that's right? He told me, go talk to this other guy over here. So I said, all right. So I went and talked to this guy over here, and he said, yeah, that's the right one. Well, it isn't. So there you go. Anyway, I'll get the right part tomorrow and finish this off. Basically, this vent pipe will come over here, based on discussions with the plumber this morning. This is a galvanized pipe, was here for the kitchen sink. This is now the master bathroom sink vent pipe. I'm going to take this out. Or no, I'm not taking it out. That's right. I've kind of waffled on that. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use a Fernco coupler right in here and keep that vent pipe, which comes up here, goes over here in the proper direction. And so I'll incorporate that, save me some time and effort. And I think that's about it. I went to the dump this morning. Then I went to the plumbing. Between the dump and the plumbing, that was about a 2.5 hour, maybe 3 hour excursion. Totally ruined my day for work. And then struggling through that convoluted master shower plumbing solution was a bit of a challenge. Oh, and then plus the meeting with the plumber. So all of that, plus the work I got done, brings us to right now. the end of the day. And the reason I'm knocking off a little early is because I've got to file our taxes today. So that'll be a lot of fun. All right. Well, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.